TV. We're your local network.
Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is Wyln News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. Wyln News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on Wyln News. I'm Julia Wiegand in for Paula Degnan. The Drums woman accused in a murder-for-hire scheme pled guilty Tuesday to solicitation to commit murder. 64-year-old Agnes Marsicano was charged with a felony count for allegedly orchestrating the slaying of her ex-husband, Dwight Bicking. Under a plea deal reached with prosecutors this morning, Marsicano pled guilty but mentally ill to the charge. A Luzerne County judge accepted the plea, noting Marsicano has been diagnosed with major depressive disorder. The judge then imposed the agreed-upon sentence of 5 to 10 years in state prison. Prosecutors allege that Marsicano offered to pay an undercover Hazelton police officer cash, jewelry, and her house on Old Turnpike Road in Drums in exchange for killing Bicking. Marsicano was remanded to serve her sentence. A man from New York is behind bars in Luzerne County. Wilkes-Barre police took Francisco Hernandez into custody and charged him with 2 counts of robbery, among others. Police say it began around 8 yesterday morning when the 29-year-old allegedly pistol-whipped a woman on Madison Street while she was putting her child in her vehicle after demanding her purse. A witness said he dropped his wallet as he took off. A short time later, a similar incident happened on Public Square. Police caught up with Francisco not long after. Law enforcement took 2 men into custody as the result of a drug bust Saturday in Hazel Township. Police investigators learned that 32-year-old Adam Rosario Castro of West Hazelton was on his way to the Walmart parking lot in Hazel Township to sell 2 pounds of meth, estimated at $7,200. He was accompanied by 28-year-old Richard Noto Francesco of McAdoo. Rosario Castro was arrested inside of the store, and Noto Francesco was apprehended after a traffic stop, where troopers found the meth in the vehicle. Both men were charged with possession of a controlled substance and drug paraphernalia. Rosario Castro was also charged with criminal use of a communication facility. They were both taken to prison for failing to post $25,000 bail each. A young man from Larksville will be spending 15 to 30 years in a state prison for the fatal shooting of his father. A psychiatrist told a judge today that Ulysses Edward Denman is acutely psychotic. Denman entered a guilty plea but mentally ill to a count of third-degree murder today. A judge accepted the plea and immediately sentenced Denman for killing his father while he slept a year ago. Police in Schuylkill County were on the pursuit of a stolen vehicle that led to an arrest of a Coaldale man Monday. State police were requested to assist Tamaqua police in an active pursuit of a stolen 2016 Mercedes sedan bearing a New Jersey registration. A traffic stop was attempted, but the vehicle took off through the village of Tuscarora and traveled on State Route 209 toward Port Carbon Borough. The car was located behind an apartment building where the driver, 52-year-old Joseph Pellegrino, was apprehended. He was charged with theft of a motor vehicle and fleeing and eluding police. He was arraigned and taken to prison for lack of $50,000 straight cash bail. State police are investigating a tip that might help identify the young mother-to-be whose mutilated body was parceled into suitcases and tossed off the Interstate 80 overpass near Whitehaven in 1976. The young woman, possibly a teenager, was brutally murdered along with her unborn daughter, and after 43 years, no one has come forward to identify her. Investigators know little about her, but they've been her voice for the last 4 decades. The victim's body was found just days before Christmas in 1976, dismembered, shoved into 3 suitcases, and tossed from a westbound highway overpass that spans the Lehigh River. She had been violently raped, strangled, and shot in the neck. Her full-term fetus was cut from her body, and her nose, ears, and breasts were removed. December 20th of that year, 2 broken suitcases and body parts were seen splayed across rocks. Investigators later found a 3rd suitcase with the baby. They also believed this was the personal sadistic work of someone she knew. Beth Doe and her daughter are buried in a potter's field in Weatherly, where every now and then strangers leave flowers for them. In 2007, investigators exhumed the body to extract DNA and released another composite sketch in hopes of revisiting the case, but nothing came from it. 6 years later, Pennsylvania Missing Persons asked the media to highlight the case, but again, no new leads came from it. Investigators are hoping that the latest tip will help advance the case, saying this particular lead checks a lot of boxes for them as being a possible match for Beth Doe. They're hopeful to identify her as their victim or rule her out with certainty. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, the tipster believes that she knew the victim as Maggie Cruz, who investigators refer to as Beth Doe. Cruz was in the care of New Jersey Social Services and was sent to the Rockwood Academy in Lenox, Massachusetts for a short time, where she was taken in by a foster family in Framingham, Massachusetts. Cruz ran away at 16, and authorities speculate she might have traveled to Tarrytown, New York. After 2 years of no contact, Cruz called a friend to say she was pregnant and needed money, not saying where she was. This was the last time that anyone heard from her. This case is not uncommon, as Beth Doe is one of more than 12,000 identified bodies in morgues or buried in public cemeteries across the United States, according to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, or NamUs. The sheer volume of these cases has become the nation's silent mass disaster, as many cases alike are decades old and have been adding up over time. State police are asking the public to contact them with any knowledge of the possible identity of Beth Doe or any information that may help lead to her ID or a possible suspect. Any information regarding the lead on Maggie Cruz is being asked for as well, in efforts to either rule her out or confirm her as Beth Doe. You can call state police at 570-459-3890 or the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 800-843-5678. Jerry Sandusky's resentencing on a 45-count child sexual abuse conviction is on hold, and it's not clear when it'll happen. Judge John Foradora issued an order Monday saying the September 23rd proceeding won't take place as scheduled. The former Penn State assistant football coach had been sentenced to 30 to 60 years after his 2012 jury conviction, but an appeals court ruled in February that mandatory minimums had been improperly applied. Sandusky was convicted of the sexual abuse of 10 boys, including attacks on campus. Coming up on Wyln News, putting law on the books for parades and public gatherings in Hazleton is a new goal for the city. Plus, planning for road work in the Hazleton area was the topic of a meeting with city and state officials. Our Gary Perna will have the story, but first, let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. This looks like a week for me. Sunny, sunny, sunny. Wednesday, sunny, 71 high with lows of 48. Thursday, 70s. It looks like we're going to stick to the low 70s, high 60s throughout the week. We'll be right back.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice,
everyday low prices,
plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Hi, I had a very minor fender bender tonight in an unreasonably narrow fast food drive-through lane. Don't worry, I have everything handled. I already spoke to our Allstate agent, and I know that we have accident forgiveness, which is so smart on your guys' part. Like the fact that they'll
4 weeks without the car.
Okay, yep, good night.
With accident forgiveness, your rates won't go up just because of an accident. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
You've seen university advertising. A student like me pitching you the same old ideas. But I'm not gonna do that.
Instead, I'm gonna tell you what you can do with the Penn State degree. You can help anyone. Go anywhere. Create! And with 20 campuses to choose from, you'll always feel at home.
Look, Penn State is amazing, but your best years are just beginning. Come find out for yourself.
Staying with news from the city, Mayor Jeff Gassat wants an ordinance placed on the books to govern parades and public gatherings. The mayor said so far this year, he received about 20 requests for parades, processions, or gatherings to take place in the city, and permission was granted for all, but the city has no way to regulate.
So we would like to just put something in writing into an ordinance that states safety measures, a lead car, a tail car, the length of a procession, time-wise and distance-wise, and then just talk about the safety and what can make them better. You know, how to block off the streets, which streets to be utilized, and just all of that processing.
The mayor said Police Chief Jerry Spezial has been compiling an ordinance to help with the issue.
There have been many ordinances that were created and looked at in preparation. We did bring some in from other municipalities. The chief has some from where he worked before. The former chief also had one written together. So we had a lot of input in the past on this. So I think we compiled some stuff that would need to be entered into a current ordinance. And then we'll just see what City Council wants to agree with. The lot of the holdup before was the financial responsibilities and the insurances that were required. So hopefully that's not a priority now. We just want to make things safe and have time measures on what can be done.
Cassat said the rules would also help the city control the length of time streets are closed for accommodating events. Once it's drafted, it will be sent to City Council for their take. Planning for road work in the Hazleton area was the topic of a meeting with city and state officials. WYLN's Gary Perna has more.
Representatives from the State Department of Transportation met with Hazleton City leaders and utility representatives to prepare for ongoing and upcoming road projects. The meeting was held so that all parties could be on the same page and hopes to avoid any conflicts.
We met with PennDOT last week to see what projects were in the works for them next year and to try to coordinate with the utilities, water, gas, sewer, in the city so that there's no obstructions with what's going on while they're planning their projects. So it's a meeting that just to help coordinate everybody to be on the same page and not interfere with anything that's going on, bus routes, special events that would be held within the city, and other construction projects.
Some of the projects that were discussed was the paving of South Poplar Street. This past summer, UGI did work on lines that run underground. Now the state wants to look at repaving that busy roadway. Also, paving West 15th Street in Hazleton into Washington Avenue in West Hazleton, which would start next year, according to the state.
As of now, construction on the curb ramps on 15th Street has begun. They are expected to finish those this year. With the expectations of paving 15th Street starting, like I said, August of 2020. The utility companies do have to do some work under 15th Street, so that will commence first, and then the paving will take place after that is finished.
Cassat said the state is also looking at paving South Church Street in Hazleton through Hazel Township from West Chestnut Street to the Carbon County line, which is slated not to happen until 2023-2024.
Obviously, the warehouse project on South 309 is going to be a big deal for the city and the construction coming up. So we are taking into consideration any work that may be done on the project as well as the streets, but that will also come at a further date when hard dates are set.
Currently, the city is working on finishing up some paving they started last month.
We started on 22nd Street, 22nd and Vine, continuing up to 15th Street. We did 11th Street from Carson over to Laurel. Wyoming Street was paved this week from 9th down to Diamond Avenue. Later this week, we're hoping to get Cybert Street from 8th, then down to Diamond, move over to Garfield Street. Then we also have Carson Street, needs some repairs by UGI. Once those are complete, we can take care of Carson Street. And then we also milled out Birch Street from Church over to Vine Street for a little repair. Then we're going to see where the finances are at that time and see if there's any more paving that can be done.
In Hazleton, for WYLN News, I'm Gary Perna.
Thanks, Gary. Officials in Carbon County plan to have new voting machines in place for this year's general election. The machines were purchased from Dominion Voting out of Denver, Colorado for $426,546. With the new machines, voters will be given a paper ballot to fill out and scan into the machine. Poll workers will have to be trained on how to use the new system. County officials plan to set the machines up in public places for demonstration purposes to let voters become familiar with them before November's election. The county purchased the new machines because of the state mandate to buy them by April of 2020. Coming up on Lime Ridge's News Choice, we talk stop signs on this week's Trooper Talk Tuesday in Community and You. And, speaking of state police, it's National Child Passenger Safety Week. Stay with us to find out how they'll be participating.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Renai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
It's the 164th Annual Bloomsburg Fair in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, September 20th through the 28th. This year, featuring the Wise Markets Grandstand Series with the biggest names in music and entertainment, like Rival Sons, September 20th. Amy Grant, September 22nd. The Oak Ridge Boys, September 23rd. Cheap Tricks, September 24th. Old Dominion, September 26th. Foreigner with Loverboy, September 27th. And Toby Keith, September 28th. Get tickets online at bloomsburgfair.com or call the Wise Markets Grandstand box office at 570-387-4145. Produced by Variety Attractions.
Welcome to Trooper Talk Tuesday here on Wyln. Everyone, I'm Gary Pern, and today I'm with Trooper Anthony Petrowski from Pennsylvania State Police Hazleton, and we're talking about stop signs. And believe it or not, they are not optional. I know, shocker, right? So Trooper Petrowski, we're seeing a spike in people who just think that, oh, well, there's nobody coming, so why do I need to stop? Or completely just zooming right past it. And number one, it's dangerous. Number two, it's against the law.
Correct. We have to remember as a licensed driver, there's rules to follow. Whether there's no vehicles around or you think there's no vehicles around, you still need to come to a complete stop. School's back in session. Kids are out at the bus stops in the morning, in the afternoon. We have to be aware of our surroundings. They are required. You have to stop for stop signs, a complete stop. Otherwise, you will be cited.
It boggles my mind some days. I'm driving through different municipalities, it's not just one, and you're coming up to the stop sign and you know the person coming out of the other street or in front of you didn't stop, and it just blow right through. And you look at it and go, all right, well, yeah, you can kind of see around you, but you're just assuming that nobody else is doing that same thing.
Right, and you know what? Stop signs are put up by PennDOT because they're needed to be there at that certain location. They're required to be there. You have to stop at them because, again, you may not see around a corner, or maybe the other road at the intersection, maybe they don't have one and you think they do. Now you roll through it and now we have a crash we need to investigate. So again, save yourself some time, stop at the stop sign, do a complete stop, and move on with your day.
One other thing I want to bring up while we're talking about signs, yield signs coming off of major roadways. You see them off the interstates, off of maybe like side roads, 309, 93. A lot of times people just go right through without really yielding to make sure there's nothing coming.
Right.
That also can be a big problem.
It can, and yield is not a stop. Yield, you have to slow down to where you can enter the roadway safely. It's not a complete stop. There are some times when you do have to stop because maybe traffic's backed up. But again, you're yielding into traffic, so you have to make sure you do it safely.
Just pay attention and listen to the signs out there. Also, another big thing on red lights, if there's a sign there that says no turn on red, it's there for a reason. I remember a couple of years ago we did a big story when they did the Broad Street Corridor project and every stop sign and red light in Hazleton had them. That was kind of changed a little bit. But they're there because of maybe blind corners. It's just a little too dangerous of a roadway to get onto. But they're there for your safety.
Correct. Due to the flow of traffic, you might not be able to turn on red. That's why the sign is posted. Again, that is a citable offense. You can get pulled over for that and be cited for it. Don't do it. It's going to save you time in the long run. Just stop and wait till it turns green.
All right, so use common sense when you're out there. If you have a stop sign, stop. Make sure there's nothing coming, especially now, as Trooper Wachowski said, the kids are back in school. It's still nice how people are out walking. Just use some common sense when you're out there. Stop at the stop signs, yield at the yield signs, and don't turn on red if there's a sign that says don't turn on red. It could cause a bigger problem for you, and I'm sure none of us have a couple extra thousands of dollars to get our cars repaired or to pay maybe a fine from the state police or any police out there in our area. Trooper Wachowski, thanks for coming on. Thank you for joining us here on Trooper Talk Tuesday. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Hey guys, this is Ray Merrill, Blaze Alexander, Greater Hazleton. We have 2016 Sierra Crew Cabs. We have got 2019 Colorados under 28 grand. We've got over 1,800 used vehicles in stock. Check them out online at blazealexander.com. We're taking the deals the other guys won't.
Krugel's Georgetown Deli and Beer is more than just a great place to grab 6-packs to go. You can also enjoy great draft beer, including their exclusive Three Onina milk stouts. Take it to go in a crowler or mix and match bottles of your favorite craft beers. Or just cool down with one of their slushies. Check out the Georgetown Pub Fare menu, including their Flight and Bites with your choice of sauces and 5-ounce draft beers. Stop in and play Keno or other Pennsylvania lottery games. Don't forget to check out their website and Facebook for tasting events. Krugel's Georgetown Deli and Beer in Wilkes-Barre Township, right next to the Big Cow.
Ralph M. Cameron, specializing in quality and affordable construction services for residential, commercial, and industrial, licensed and insured. Call 570-401-0654 today for all your construction needs.
Pennsylvania State Police will be participating in this week's observance of National Child Passenger Safety Week. State troopers certified as child passenger safety technicians will be doing free safety seat fitting events across the Commonwealth. The events are to help make sure people have the right seat for their child's height and weight, and that it's properly installed in their vehicle. A list of locations and times of child safety seat events is available on the State Police website. Locally, PennDOT District 4 has an event this Friday from 10:30 to 1 p.m. at the Pittston Library. A local organization will be hosting their annual Theme Basket Auction this upcoming weekend. Catholic Social Services is gearing up for the auction that takes place Saturday, September 21st from 6 to 7 p.m. and Sunday, September 22nd from 11:30 until 2 p.m. There will be over 100 baskets valued at $25 or more, including lottery boards and gift certificates. Money raised will stay with the agency that helps people in need, so be sure to head on down to Catholic Social Services Family Center at 106 South Church Street this weekend. There will also be hot dogs, halushki, and pierogies for sale at Sunday's auction. Sounds good. That's the news. Remember, you can get news updates on our WYLN News Facebook page. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next here on WYLN TV.
Experience the beauty of the Valley Country Club and let them sponsor you for your next event. Toss the flowers and dance the night away with their course as your backdrop. Let Valley Country Club host your next special occasion, whether it's a bridal or baby shower, anniversary, celebration of life, pool party, charity fundraiser, business meeting,